presents exciting new opportunities for the investment-minded, but it's also volatile and accelerating in complexity. That's why we created Token Metrics, an intelligent crypto platform backed by an industry-leading combination of data, AI, and media that feeds optimized portfolios to crypto investors. Featuring Token Metrics ratings to help you find the best investment opportunities in real time, an indices page that showcases various model portfolios, and deep insights into price predictions and technical analysis. Plus, with access to Token Metrics TV, monitor 24/7 exclusive crypto news and analysis. Whether you're a first-time trader or a seasoned crypto investor, you can stay informed and in control, backed by your all-in-one crypto companion, Token Metrics. Take control of crypto today at tokenmetrics.com.
We are live. Welcome to the Market Update, Monday Crash Edition. I'm your host, Bill Noble. This show is brought to you by tokenmetrics.com and Astrobot Society. What's that? Don't go anywhere. You'll find out. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live, and smash the like button like it was your job. Do it. Okay, let's welcome to see who's on the stream. Okay, Crypto Lion is here, Arkansas, sending me some notorious love. Thank you. Right, Cryptomatic is looking for Avalanche. We'll get into it. New York is here, Supreme Crypto. Solely Soul, as one person said last week, we are all regulars. Hats off to the regulars, and hats off to anyone here who's new, right? Dingo ate my Satoshis is here. Bull Germany. Appreciate you guys staying up a little later. Portugal, our friends from the United Kingdom. Bulgaria. Cryptomatic says, where do you think this market is heading in the near future? Well, you have tuned in to exactly the right place. I will explain it to you. I suspect red is opportunity. We have California, Holland, right? Bill, did you wait for 22K, a move to 22K? Been waiting. So Observer 47 has been waiting to get the dip, okay? Okay, Ronak says we need a bill map, forget the roadmap. I appreciate that. Don't worry, we're going to get a roadmap, a bill map, and an Astrobot map. Matter of fact, the Astrobot map may be the map to Bill. Don't go anywhere. Okay, Madrid is here. Thank you, Aiken, Notorious Love. We have London calling, travel videos. Caleb Klein from Arizona, Oregon, Connecticut. Okay, Caleb says the 6-year chart is starting to look bullish, right? Matic, somebody is looking for Matic, ETH Classic, Cyprus, Winter Park, okay? All right, so Tugay says, apparently the next 2 weeks will not be good for Bitcoin. All right, well, we'll talk about what is and what is not good for Bitcoin. I kind of think that this little sell-off is overdone. Matter of fact, I think it's a stop fishing exercise. Okay, we have Awesome from Cyprus, right? We have the Australian Bear is here. We have Minnesota, Morocco, Cyprus. Okay. Let's talk about something new. Okay. I want to show you just a little PowerPoint slide, and then we're going to go to Twitter. All right. And Token Metrics has got something new. It's called Astrobot Society. All right. Basically, Token Metrics is going to be giving let's just say premium access to our platform and our researchers. Okay. You're going to get an NFT, and at the NFT at the mint, okay, all these NFTs will give you lifetime subscriptions to Token Metrics. You might get a basic plan. You might get an intermediate plan. You might get premium. You might get VIP. Okay. But every mint, all right, or every NFT you purchase will be lifetime access to Token Metrics. and all their analysts. Okay. So if you're going to do NFTs, right, why not do NFTs that help you get better crypto research? Okay. So let's just take a brief moment, right? We'll check the market before we go back to the PowerPoint, right? So just briefly, here's Bitcoin on a 4-hour chart, naturally right at the bottom of a regression band, running all the stops. So it's Stop Fishing Monday, right? Running all the stops. The SEC comes after a couple cryptos, flexes its muscles, and everyone starts selling, right? Regulatory FUD, right, has always been a buy. Whether it's the US, China, whoever's outlawing crypto, it's always been a buy. That's my opinion. Now, back to the best place to get research in crypto, okay? So if you follow Astrobot Society, right, on Twitter, that can lead to lots of good information, obviously, about the mint, right? I do know there's a Discord, but that's invite only. And the best way to get in on it is to follow the Twitter, okay? So this is going to be a way to access, the platform, the AI. You've seen it. And all of the analysts, okay? So we got guys working really hard on this. There may be an Astrobot that, I don't know, that it may look like me. I don't know. We haven't decided that yet. But why don't you jump on this and follow it? The thing about NFTs is they're fun. Art is cool, I think. And I think we've even gotten some attention from big players. So I'm pretty sure our friends at Altcoin Daily, so hats off to you, okay? Altcoin Daily is into it, so check it out. All right. And now back to the market. All right, we have Boston is here. When is the NFT release? Okay, NFT release, as I understand, is in mid-August, but you won't know the full details unless you help these guys out by following them on Twitter. Again, it's how you're going to access Web3, okay, Web3 research. It's going to be through NFTs, all right? Now, let's welcome our friends from Eastern Europe. Let's get into your market update. Okay, so we got our Astrobot guy. Is red an opportunity, right? Why is the market down? Why is everyone selling? Well, guess people, I don't know, they ate some bad seafood over the weekend. The SEC comes after like 2 or 3 companies and everyone's freaking out. I don't understand why. Okay, so we have our quant support and resistance levels. On token metrics, this is what has actually been working best. So if you're new to the market update, or whether you're not, frequently I'm showing you the chart stuff that works the best. Whatever's working is what I'm showing you and what I'm using. So these chart points are drawn by AI and machine learning. Okay, 21,700 was a big point. So 24 was resistance. It comes back and it tests 21. 21.7. I don't see any reason why, with Bitcoin holding this area here, why it can't go back up to 24 and even take off and go to 28. Everyone's afraid of the Fed. I'm not. The Fed's going to hike rates to stop inflation, and the economy is already in a recession, right? I was walking into restaurants in Austin, Texas at 6:30 on Saturday night. Had absolutely no trouble getting a table. None. Matter of fact, it was empty. All right, just a brief note on Astrobot. The audience is asking what network the NFTs are going to be on, and they are going to be running on Ethereum. So, for lifetime access to Token Metrics' AI and our analyst team, okay, check that out. So why is everyone upset? I don't get it. Seriously. I mean, you guys know me. It's like when it's time to get negative, I have no problem getting negative. I don't understand why everyone's selling today. What? The SEC? Really? We're going to sell off that nonsense? More on the news in a minute, so don't go anywhere for the news. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, 1560 was a kind of a support level. 1450 was even bigger because they've hammered on that a couple of times. All right. So yeah, Ethereum is between a range between 1650 and 1450, right? But it's at the bottom end of the range, right? I mean, everybody thinks the Fed is the end of the world. The Fed is not the end of the world. It's a tightening that will probably be unwound a year from now if the bond market is correct. So why is everyone selling crypto? I mean, I guess people are taking profits, but support's at 1450, and I don't see any reason why it can't go back to 1752, because that would essentially unwind the whole liquidation trade. Right? In other words, we may go into a tweet later, or it's on my Twitter, where everyone thinks that as soon as ETH 2.0 comes out, all the staked ETH automatically comes out all at once. No, it doesn't. Not according to some of the stuff I've seen on Twitter. It doesn't all automatically get unlocked. And remember, the ETH merge is the equivalent of 3 Bitcoin halvings or 2 Bitcoin halvings. Right? I mean, ETH becomes deflationary. So why is everyone selling ETH all of a sudden? I mean, yeah, okay, it's corrective, but I mean, this looked like it was going to zero like 45 minutes before I went on the air. I'm like, what is everybody doing? Right? You have ETH at the bottom of a regression band here, right? So this band is just a nice channel for the uptrend. There was support at 1506. Naturally, they have to run stops below that because that's what these things are. They're like stop fishing exercises. As a reminder, on tokenmetrics.com's market page, which you get access to lifetime with an Astrobot, only 9% of the big cryptos are above their 60-day exponential moving average. So if I'm wrong about this, I guess we're in a bear market because coins can't get back above their 60-day. But how can you have a bear market rally when, nothing can take out its average of where it's been the last 2 months? Like, the sell signal is when this thing goes to like 80 and everything's above its 60-day moving average and everyone thinks it's going up. Not now. I mean, yeah, this was depressed during the liquidation period, but you got to go back. We did a video, an interview with Simon Dixon. This guy was the biggest depositor in Celsius. They're going to reorganize Celsius. I mean, it's going to be a battle in court. But this guy is battling to reorganize Celsius as like a Bitcoin-based, fully regulated bank where the people who have got money in Celsius are incentivized to keep it there by making it a Bitcoin-centric bank. Now, I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound like, I don't know, $1 billion of wrapped Bitcoin is going to hit the market all at once. Unless there's something going on here, we're going back to there's something out there and it ain't no man. But if you watch the Simon Dixon interview that we did, they're trying to reorganize Celsius so that all their supply doesn't wreck the market. Okay, Bitcoin, right? 21,300 is the bottom of a regression channel. 21,700 was AI-based support. So you have kind of double confirmation. I don't understand why people are selling Bitcoin at 21. Again, unless there's some big seller out there that I'm not aware of, right? It looks like you had people trapped at the top and they just all puked it out. Meanwhile, total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin, 3 days ago, even though it was kind of an ugly candle, put in the pi cycle bottom. We saw this at the bottom in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's interesting, in my opinion, that the total crypto market cap figures have bottoming signals. So doesn't that mean that you buy on red until it doesn't work anymore? Like, here's overall total market cap. Total crypto market cap is near where it was on the Pi cycle bottom day. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess if this thing goes down and we're afraid of the Fed and the bear market's going to start up, then, there's a lot of room between, 1400. There's plenty of time to get negative is what I'm saying. If it is time to be negative, don't we have time? But everyone abandoned the positive view on the first correction of the up move. Like, people who wanted to get in, it's like ETH down 7%, looked like it was going to zero, like before I got on the air. Like, what are these people doing? What are they doing? Okay. So quant levels for Avalanche, somebody was asking about Avalanche. Before we get to that, Broken Noodle is asking about what about the Mt. Gox dump in August? All right. Well, I mean, folks, supply from that or, any other direction, big supply can hit the market. I think that supply story is why Bitcoin didn't follow ETH on the way up. I mean, the market took Celsius's wrapped Bitcoin. It took Musk's Bitcoin, right? Long-term hodlers puked out, right? And somebody took that Bitcoin. So the Mt. Gox people have been doing forced hodling for a long time. I'm just wondering why they would sell it all at 20K. That's just me. Now, of course, they could come in and be like, oh my God, get me out. At which case the charts turn. But I don't think the charts have turned yet, right? So in Avalanche, we had support around 23. Naturally, they had to take it below that because that's just how things work in crypto, right? You find a point and they'll do stop fishing below it. I think if Avalanche comes back above 23, you could see 31. And it's not marked on the chart, but if Avalanche can't get above 23, 14 is next. I'm inclined to give some of these bigger coins the benefit of the doubt between now and the end of the month. Okay. Like, if there's a big rally at the end of the month, you might want to just take profits there. But I think this is going to be a pure trader's market for probably 30 days, right? Like, down 10%, buy it. Up 20%, sell it, right? That's going to be the mode from now on. And I just think, when you look at the earnings reports that are coming out, Microsoft, Google, right, Apple, all these big tech companies are reporting earnings right as Jay Powell is coming out with his announcement. So he's going to talk tough. He may acknowledge some of the weakness in the economy because the U.S. economy is falling off a cliff, right? It's falling off a cliff, right? And then he's just going to keep tightening, and that's going to be the end. And that's the way it's always worked. But you got to ask yourself, is that good or bad for crypto? I mean, I got to think it's good, right? I mean, if the Fed's tightening now, but it'll be easing later, even if that turns out to be wrong, the expectation, right? In other words, if Powell comes out and opens his mouth and the market goes up, you may be looking back 3 days from then, and going, oh my God, I could have bought ETH at 1,400 something. Something to think about. Okay, Solana, there's support at 35. There's a choppy dance around 40. Okay, my suspicion is that Solana, may not be the best play unless it proves it can stay above 41. Like, all Solana looks like it's doing is stopping everyone out, right? Like, people try to buy at 30, they get stopped out. People try to sell at 40, they get stopped out. Sometimes when you read a chart, you have to say, is this a trend? Is this a dip? Or is this just a bunch of confused people and everything in the market is P&L destruction? Seriously. Like, this looks like venture capital people are trying to move positions around and no one's really paying attention to the chart. But, if Solana can get above 35, that could be good news for the altcoin complex. All right, DYDX. Now, this is an example. So I think if I remember correctly, I was just loving DYDX. I went to a function of theirs at Consensus. I was so impressed, right? 148 was a great point on our AI, and DYDX was down there for like 3 or 4 days and then just ripped up to 250. Now, can DYDX go to $4? I don't know. Probably not, right? The small coins maybe have done what they're going to do, I think. And the big coins may not be done yet, particularly Bitcoin, right? If the Mt. Gox thing is overhanging on that, God, if somebody takes that supply from those guys, they've taken supply from everybody, right? You have like all this volume being transacted down there. So I like DYDX, and DYDX has paid you to buy these, to buy these big red days. So I'm not giving up on this. I think buying random small coins won't work. But man, I would love to see this thing turn around and take out 250. Because, if market-related coins are doing well, that's healthy for crypto. Now, Cosmos, right? Huge moonshot, right? All the way down to like 5, blows through support at 875, just completely moons above 10, now is coming back to 875. Very interesting, right? Everyone loves chasing it when it's moving up. The question is, seriously, can you buy a dip and make money? Now, honestly, what is the harm in trying? What is the harm in saying, all right, I want to test to see if it's a bull market. I'm going to buy a dip and I'm going to see if it works. Now you're like, Bill, you want me to buy a dip in front of the Fed and massive earnings? And believe it or not, I'm going to say, yeah, you might get stopped out, okay? But the way crypto has worked is you want to own it or short it before the big event comes out, right? People will say, oh, well, the big event is coming. I better take profits and get out. Okay, that's understandable. But the way crypto works is whatever crypto is going to do, during that event or after that event, crypto doesn't wait. Crypto starts doing it now. That's why I think this whole thing was a stop fishing exercise, and the big guys were standing down there and they're hoovering it up. We'll see. Right? I just don't see the case for selling alternative currencies now. Okay, if it breaks down, okay, whatever. We'll get some new charts. Now, Polkadot, I'm probably going to have to shut up about this because it just sits at 7. But the next point is at 10. And above that is 15. And I found out over the weekend or late last week that we have an automated grade for coins. Okay? An automated grade for coins. Polkadot is the highest rated grade for the automated altcoin. The automated altcoin grade based on fundamentals. So if you have an Astrobot and you happen to get a lifetime subscription, right, to one of the plans, you don't know which one you're going to get, but this functionality where you can chart your coin using these methods and see these automated grades that we have. I mean, I'm in an internal meeting and me and this other guy are talking about Polkadot, and our boss says, hey, pull up the spreadsheet of the automated grades. And I'm like, we have automated grades, fundamental grades for coins? He's like, yeah. They pull up the spreadsheet. Polkadot is number 1, not investment advice. And I'm going to shut up about Polkadot. Okay, Audio gets hacked or Audius gets hacked. Who cares, right? I think that if the market's going to go down, it's going to go down. And when Audius gets wrecked, it gets wrecked, right? But I think these hacks make the protocols stronger, unless the protocols are just broken. We'll look at the news in a minute. I mean, Audius is in the middle of a range. It doesn't look very exciting. 26 is support, 42 is resistance. But, I mean, this whole decentralized music thing, I mean, one of the original Audius's guys is now doing Listen to Earn on Solana. Okay, Matic. So this speaks to something that may be out of gas. So there may come a day, and that day may be here, where, I don't know, you might be long bigger coins and short smaller ones as a hedge. There's a lot of resistance up here in Matic at 93 cents. So, I guess the good news for the market is if they blew through this, Matic would be making a statement. But, other than buying a dip in ETH, a lot of this smaller stuff, I'm just not inclined to chase. I think the trade on the upside, if it exists, is the big coins. Okay, Ninja said Great Depression 2.0 coming very soon. What a great comment. Thank you. Wish we could hit the like button for your comment. Again, folks, if the economy rolls over, why is everybody selling crypto? Right? If everybody's selling crypto, right, when interest rates are going to go lower, all right? So we got some love from Jamaica. Sweet June 31 hoovered up some DOT. Cool. Okay. Okay. Georgia Sen says, do you want liquidity for your shorts? No, I do not. I do not. Okay. Basically on this on this channel, you actually get chart work and real research, just like you would at an investment bank, right? By people who actually do research, who don't have some agenda. Now, I don't, investment bank research has been cleaned up, but the point is, this channel and this site is about professional research. Okay, so let's go and share. Let's take a look at the news. Okay, so Circle launches a stablecoin for the euro. It's always a good idea to have alternative forms of money. One of the things that I like thinking about is, what kind of money do you have? Do you have crypto.com? Do you have a debit card that works with crypto? Obviously, you're going to have fiat, right? What kind of currency do you have? And when can you get access to it? Now, that's probably why they're doing, kind of like something where Circle will provide digital foreign exchange services, right? It'll give you different forms of access to the same thing. Now, over here, right, we have Keep is introducing person-to-person payments, okay, on like a Telegram-style network, okay? Cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex and Tether have collaborated, right, on an open source protocol so that you can pay people, talk to people, have encrypted messages, etc. Again, I see this news, right? I see everybody selling Bitcoin. I see everybody paying attention to like crypto FUD. And I'm asking myself, all right, what happens if all the FUD is there and adoption is about to occur? Again, I know I'm looking at the glass half full, and I know a lot of swing traders want to be short. I just don't want to be short on the first dip after a rally. You don't know if it's a bull market yet. If you buy a dip and lose money, okay, then it's over. Okay. Coinbase blasts the SEC over its insider trading case, saying that none of the tokens it lists are securities. And you're like, what? Right? How do you have an insider trading case without securities? This is the Securities and Exchange Commission. Well, guess what these guys decided to do? These guys decided to arbitrarily say these coins are securities, and then I think try to prosecute insider trading cases on coins that they arbitrarily decided were securities. Like, what? The SEC has provided no guidance over the years other than to say Bitcoin and ETH are not securities. Now, of course, Michael Saylor will tell you in his mind, anything that's proof of stake is a security. Okay, I got it. And the SEC is being really arbitrary here. And that's probably why everybody's selling everything. But why is everyone selling ETH? ETH is not a security. Okay. Now the SEC, are they scaring everybody? Yeah. Well, what'd you expect after Luna? What did you expect? I mean, did you expect they just sit around and go, oh, gee, that's nice. You know, a couple $100 billion vaporized. We'll just sit here and do nothing. Okay. We have Chipotle giving away free crypto. Okay. Buy the dip avocado day. All right. Now, when people get a little cheesy like this, I get a little worried. Okay. But let me ask you something. Like when I looked at this, like Chipotle has, you know, is now giving away 200,000 in crypto. Okay. As a giveaway. Let me ask you something. With retailing and retailers, retailers are just, they're screwed, right? Gas prices are up. Layoffs are going to start soon. Nobody's getting pay increases to keep up with inflation. So how are retailers going to get customers into their stores or even on their online sites this Christmas, this holiday season? Like, I know that you're like, Bill, it's the end of July. Why are you talking about the holidays? Because this is when retailers start putting people, hiring, and strategies in motion for the holidays, the Western holidays. Like, what happens if people start taking crypto or there's Bitcoin ATMs inside Walmarts? No one has thought of this, right? There's a million reasons for the market to go down. I mean, you can put it in the comments like, Bill, you're out of your mind. Okay. You know, if there's going to be a depression, then there's going to have to be interest rate cuts and there's going to have to be alternative forms of money. Now, I know I've been on this future of money trade ever since 2020, right? With mixed results, and that's being polite. Okay. But I keep asking myself, all right, everyone's selling Bitcoin at 21. What? I mean, if Bitcoin was at 32, I'd be like, okay, yeah, let's sell it. Okay, let's get out. But it never went up. So that either means someone's sitting on it, like someone is getting liquidated, like the Mt. Gox guys, or maybe there's another problem out there, or everyone is all bearish and hesitant right before something good is about to happen, right? I mean, think about it. Okay, so ETH was down 7%, going over to live TA. So, of course, you know, one of the things you look for in a big uptrend, if you can see this, is, you know, the 23% retracement. In equities, like when something in equities was on like an up-only trajectory, the best you would get is 23% retracements. That was at 1506. Naturally, they had to run everybody's stops below 1,500, of course, because, you know, crypto is a part of the foreign exchange market, and the foreign exchange market has invented and perfected running stops, right? Somebody was asking me if this is a liquidity event for my shorts. No, that is not true. But running stops was the liquidity event for somebody who wants to get long, thinking that maybe ETH can go back to the top end of this channel. Whoops. No, the top end of this channel is at 1880. You know, again, this ETH merge thing, like, don't mess with it. I'm telling you. Like, there was a time and a place where I was like, kill ETH, kill this market. Now, I'm not that way. I'm just not. So we have KDA. This is a 4-hour chart. Right? So I'm doing my regression band thing here, and it looks like there's a lot of support at $1.50. Okay? So again, if you get something at the bottom of a range, if you get something near support, the question is, if you buy it, can you make money if you buy a dip? Is this any good? I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that if you can buy a dip and make money, that may tell you something about whatever it is we're talking about. Okay. Okay. So NW updates. Okay. I have news crypto. We have NW updates. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure what that means, but maybe we can clarify that later. Okay. Can you analyze Woo Network? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Okay. So all these things are going to have a very similar regression band, I think, on like a 4-hour chart. So if we start looking at a daily, the regression band is not as useful. Okay. Now, what I'm looking at in all these other coins, you can get yourself a subscription to Token Metrics. You can get yourself an Astrobot. And if you can't get yourself an Astrobot, you better know where the 60-day moving average is in whatever coin you're talking about. So in Woo Network, the 60-day exponential moving average, I think, is at 0.19. Okay. Now, as you can see, as you heard earlier, most of the big cap coins cannot get above their 60-day EMA, right? Like only 10%, and you can see why, right? Like this is Woo. Like every time it goes up, it gets slammed at the 60-day. So what does that mean? I don't know. Is the market's no good? Possibly. But I mean, what happens if you start to get, you get material breakouts? Okay. You got to wait and see. But I guess the good news for today is they hit the market, but it's not backing off. It's not backing off, right? All right. So let's take a brief moment. Okay, to head over to Token Metrics. Somebody's asking about checking Rune. We all know I like this. I like the story behind this. Not investment advice. It's kind of like it's like the box of chocolates under the bed. The guilty pleasure. The question is, after something like this runs up, where is support and resistance? Okay. So it bottomed at 165 nicely. And this is actually typical. When it comes to technical analysis like this, are you seeing the screen? Okay. So when it comes to technical analysis, the more illiquid the coin is, the better support and resistance works. Like remember how DYDX touched that bottom and went straight up? So, Rune hit 165 and then it went to 3 and then it fell off. So we're probably not going to know anything about this, okay, until we see Rune hold this area around 250, right? 250 were all these prior highs, and we're going to see if the ceiling becomes the floor. Okay? That's how we're going to do that. All right. So I'm going to unshare this. Okay. Okay. Recon Man says, smash the like for Bill. I appreciate that. Bill, will Matic be obsolete if the ETH merge is successful, or will it make using ETH more efficient still? Okay. The good news is I don't know. All right. The thing I ask about Matic is this, and a lot of these tokens are the same way. Like, I understand why people would want to use Bitcoin and Ethereum as money, right? The question is, what's the value of something like Matic? Like, should the price be 30 cents, 3 cents, $3. I don't know. It's a pure supply and demand play. Okay. Pratik says, can you please also comment on USDT FUD and the USDT collapse rumor? Okay. You mean, can I please comment on another USDT FUD and USDT collapse rumor? Okay. The only way, okay, Auto Jam, we appreciate you tuning in with us. Thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. All right. Now, Tether is a function of what securities they own. The Chinese real estate market, people are not paying their mortgages. They're about to have their own version of 2008. Okay. If Tether holds Chinese securities and is not telling anyone about it, that's obviously bad. Right. And you'll know because you'll see if there are major headlines. There are major headlines about Chinese real estate, and that starts to affect Tether, and you've got your answer, right? I want to say that if a stable coin was going to blow up, it would have blown up already, or that blow up will come later. Actually, I think it's more likely that you have legacy bankruptcies and legacy problems rather than stablecoin problems. Like, I think the whole world of legacy is in trouble. Seriously. Okay. So this is KDA. I came back to it because there was another request. Sorry. Okay. So like all these charts, right? You always have to ask yourself, is my altcoin going to make it? Like, I love my altcoin, but the question is, will my altcoin make it? And that's the lesson of a KDA, right? So let's check it on token metrics. Okay. Just check to see what's going on with support and resistance. Because believe it or not, I'm not really into buying anything that's like pressing against resistance. Like, I think ETH and Bitcoin are interesting today because, you know, they hit support. So, I mean, with KDA, right? Okay, so 155 was a big level. Okay, 155 is a big support point there. And obviously, as you can tell by what's going on here, I mean, KDA did this to you. It did it to you on the upside in May of 21. It did it to you on the downside in September. It's not funny. Okay, May again, every time KDA goes below $1.55, it looks like a stop fishing exercise, right? So I think you need to see somebody show up down here and move it back above $1.55 because it's been down here so many times, right? And you got to check all your coins, right? Check to see if somebody can bring it back above a relevant point. That's the best way to approach, I think, altcoins today, right? Let's go check the market again. So, you know, ETH is getting hit again. Okay. You know, if you're wondering like where I would stop myself out, like, you know, honestly, I think if you saw ETH below, say, 1411, that's the 38% retracement. Okay. And it's basically, you know, like the corrective move may be over because I don't know if I want to stick around in front of the Fed and catch a falling knife and have it go to 1256 in my face. This is just short term, right? Now, August, I think what is also happening is the market's defining what the August range will be. So if you get stopped out at 1411, then you may get a chance to buy it lower, but it will only be for a range trade. So if the market's carving out a new range, great. But this does look like stop fishing to me as of now, right? I mean, the YouTube headlines will be like, oh my God, it's all over. Really? On the first dip? I don't know. The legacy system is fantasy numbers derived from compound interest on debt money created by a bunch of criminals to steal the wealth of nations through inflation and compound interest over time. Exactly. So why is everyone selling crypto when legacy may, I don't know, maybe legacy is about to have its big problem. I don't know. Just a thought, right? I mean, crypto had its big problem. Now the question is, can you buy a dip? I mean, it's just an analytical question. Can you buy a dip? Okay. Mel wants me to check on Decentraland. I'd be happy to. Naturally, anybody's here for the request version of the show, please feel free to hit the like button. Okay, so Decentraland kind of looks, it's going to look like a broad array of coins. Again, everybody was in a hurry to sell at the 60-day moving average. So if there's something that worries me about the market, it's that, everybody was in a hurry to sell it at the 60-day moving average. All these coins, right? Everyone was like, oh, God, I can't wait to sell it there. I'm like, all right, well, let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's go over here to Decentraland. Check this out. Okay, so what we're looking for here, just if you're turning in new, some of the stuff that's been working the best is quant-based or AI-based support and resistance levels. It's some of the stuff that's actually worked the best. Now, in Decentraland, it's probably not rocket science to say that there's resistance at $1, right? There's support at 91 cents, and this may be the range. I mean, you can expect in these markets range trading to continue. Like personally, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't get more out of Bitcoin, right? And when you look at how Decentraland has been moving in this range, it's been a buy at 80 cents. It's been a sell at $1. What I'm interested in, right, is when you get these nasty red days, can you buy a dip? On all these other nasty red days, you really could not buy a dip. I mean, yeah, you could wait till they killed it and then do it, right? Like it was, red, same thing here, right? On the way down in July. The question is, can it top out? Can they flush everybody and then do buyer step in? Like here, buyer stepped in on July 21st. So you don't want to see this all the way up, all the way down stuff. You want to see people start stepping in now, right? Let them see stepping in now. Okay, Bitcoin 2020 says, okay, you got money to buy the dips? That's a good point, right? I think it's not only money, but I think it's psychological bandwidth, right? In other words, can you deal with it, right? Can you deal with the volatility? Did the volatility scare you out today? So again, with some of these trades, Sandbox does well. It hits resistance at $1.34 and then comes off hard. Okay, so it definitely was not a buy at $1.34. The question is, is anybody going to show up on a dip, or is it going to wind up all the way back at $1.14? Okay, let's not share this, and let's go back over here to see if we can get any kind of read on sand. Okay, I think, again, the most important thing is where is it versus its 60-day average. That 60-day exponential moving average, right? Like, there's a battle going on. It doesn't matter what coin it is. Seriously, if there's a top 500 market cap coin, most likely there's a battle going on at the 60-day. Maybe the exception is Polkadot, right? Polkadot is just acting kind of dead, right? But I really don't agree. I just don't, right? Polkadot at $7, there's been capitulation down here for days, like not days, like a month more. And Polkadot is up at $8.42. So if it's an uptrend, right? And I understand the thing that you're afraid of here is the knife experience, right? Let's take a look at Polkadot. Let me just share this so we can talk about the knife experience. Okay, so Aiken is asking, okay, let me just get this comment up because we definitely appreciate Aiken and his viewership. Bill, would you agree if the Fed is buying up the debt and China is dumping U.S. treasuries, we may see bail-ins instead of bailouts, the bailouts of 2008 this time? Okay, well, a bail-in, I don't know. To me, that says a lot of different things, right? Like normally a bail-in on, say, something like Celsius, or like when banks failed in Europe, is when, the bank is insolvent and they take some of your money and they give you 60 cents on the dollar, and the bank bails itself out by bailing it in to your account. I think what the Fed is going to have to do is, if there are bankruptcies in the U.S., like if there's some sort of chain reaction that starts with Chinese real estate and then moves over to our real estate, like housing affordability now is as bad as it was before the 2008 crisis. That's from Goldman. So you could have a housing blow up. Now, how's the Fed going to deal with that? Are they going to do bailouts? Are they going to just haircut everybody? Is the Fed going to absorb the institutions themselves? I don't know. But they're definitely going to have to start tightening. Stop tightening. Okay? MMC John wants to learn, how can I learn about the Gann lines that I draw on my Twitter? Okay? Well, that took a lot of studying. I can't share that all in one stream. Definitely want to stay tuned on my Twitter for that. And who knows, people with Astrobot NFTs, we're talking about doing education as a part of that, not investment advice. So when it comes to Rose, the thing you have to ask yourself is, I know that I liked Polkadot, but if something didn't get to its 60-day moving average, if something couldn't get there, you got to ask yourself, it's like Scooby-Doo, it's like Ruh-Roh. Okay. Whatever it is you try to buy, assuming you even try that, if you actually try to buy something, you want to buy something that's close to the 60-day moving average. Okay, now, that said, does this look terrible? No. This hasn't gone anywhere. It's formed a base since June.
Not sharing screen.
Not sharing the screen. Thank you. Okay. So when you look at Rose, honestly, on the daily chart, yeah, it's very far away from the 60-day all the way up here, right? Let's see what the 4-hour picture looks like. Now, I guess the good news is, like a lot of this stuff, it's trading in this little sideways band, but it's at the bottom of the band, right? So, all right, should you go out and buy this with the rent money? I don't think so. But if you've been suffering with this, I don't think you puke it out today. You're cheering for it to get back to the 60-day, but I don't know. I don't feel like puking everything out on the first big ugly red day after an uptrend. Just feels like a bunch of people were late to the trade and they got stopped. Let's move this over here. Okay, so somebody wants to talk about stocks. Here's the thing about stocks that's got my attention, right? And it really doesn't have anything to do with TA. Now, stocks, like everything else, are not getting above their 60-day exponential moving average. And there's no way earnings are going to be good, right? So we appreciate the sheepdog army comments. I'm always trying to keep you out of trouble. Hopefully I'm not getting you in trouble by having a slightly positive bias on the dip. Here's the thing about legacy, right? Like, stocks could go down. They should go down. Earnings are terrible. Rates are higher. The consumer's not spending. But, if you look at this Williams oscillator, right? Like, every time it kind of pops up positive, like last time, the stock market gets wrecked. So the biggest risk to crypto is stocks. The thing that is preventing me from getting mega bearish stocks right this second is that every big fund manager out there dumped stocks and got long bonds, just like they did at the end of the 2008 crisis. It feels like they've got a level of capitulation going on over there that, even though it's at resistance and it's very tempting to say, this is kind of like some kind of ABC correction. That's logical to draw something like that, I think. But I'm asking myself, all right, everybody hates stocks. And if everybody hates stocks, will they go down? I guess if Jerome Powell, and I've said this before, if Jerome Powell wants stocks down, he will get them down. But if rates are higher and earnings are terrible, that's not good for stocks. Stocks can drag crypto down. I get it. But the thing is, stocks aren't moving. Stocks are okay, and everyone's selling crypto. I'm like, this is stupid. It should be the other way around, right? So if they're not selling stocks, why is everybody selling the future of money? That's crazy, right? That's crazy. Okay, Alex says, audio hacked, FOMC, earnings, etc., and Bill says it's okay to buy. Weird position since he's been so bearish for so long, and now these events require caution. Respect your opinion, but... Okay, so I love comments like this, right? So, Alex, we appreciate you. This helps get the dialogue on the show going, all right? Now, is it true that when problems are unknown, what is most toxic for markets is uncertainty, right? Like, nobody knew Celsius was out there. Hell, I remember that everyone thought Celsius was the bad guy because they thought that someone used Celsius to help wreck UST. That's how this whole thing started with Luna, right? So Luna happened, and then there was this huge chain reaction, but we didn't know what that was. Now we know what it is. We know the Fed is tightening. We know inflation is terrible. We know all these things, right? We know earnings are going to be terrible for stocks. We get that. We know that. We know that. We know about Mt. Gox. I mean, now, is there something else out there that we don't know about? Of course. I'm not going to be an idiot and say I know everything, but it's the difference between the unknown, like the invisible predator, like get to the chopper, and then once it becomes known and it's all over the media, right? Like I don't have the article, but supposedly the Washington Post came out, and I don't think it was a very flattering article about BitBoy and influencers, basically saying, hey, you know, these guys are you know, they're good and not good. You know, the Washington Post is writing a negative article about crypto. Do you want to trade with a journalist at the Washington Post? What do they know about markets or charts? Nothing. You know, they're like, ooh, I saw a bearish article on the block, and then I'm going to write a bearish article. Well, how did they know to write a bearish article? Because the bad news might be out. Now, if the bad news is out, the market's going to get dropped, right? I get it. I understand. Right? Okay, here it is. Here it is. Okay. The crypto boom runs on hype. Ben Armstrong is one of a handful of influencers who gained a huge following. So jealous. By giving advice, and critics say it's a profession riddled with ignorance, conflict, and moral hazards. Okay. You can't possibly ever support Celsius Network or Mashinsky in any way. Okay. Who goes by the monkey or BitBoy Crypto. He told his 900,000 Twitter followers after Celsius froze all deposits in June. Okay. There was only one problem. Armstrong had been central to encouraging them to deposit their money with Celsius in the first place. Okay, so BitBoy did a bad trade, right? Whatever. Whether he did or whether he didn't. How easy was it to be negative? Like, how easy is it to go back in retrospect and say, oh, yeah, you know, BitBoy was wrong or the influencers were wrong, right? It's easy to write negative story. Okay, so somebody says, could you check ETH? I'm short with 10x leverage from 1455. Okay, well, let's check it out. Love these practical questions. Okay. So when it comes to ETH, right, this is the 89-minute chart. So this is kind of how I do tactical stuff. A lot of times these blue candles can sometimes show up at tops or bottoms like they did over here. You know, I think when you're looking at ETH, let's go to a 4-hour chart. Right. So your liquidation point is right there, right? It's at 1552. So you're short against the high uptick. Right there. And you know, that's reasonable. Okay. Now, again, they went stop fishing down here. So if they're stop fishing on the downside, they may go stop fishing on the upside. Seriously. I mean, that's what this market may be doing. Now, obviously, another trading thing is if you have a view and you put a stop in, then you should let your trade work. Now, if you got too much leverage, you know, there's like an add-on to a joke that I made, right? Like the best strategy is one that helps you sleep at night. If you're not sleeping at all, you've got too much risk. If you're sleeping too well, you don't have enough risk on. Question is, do you want to be 10x levered with ETH on top of the 2017 high? So, the 1400 where you got short, that's what 20, 30 points off the 2017 high. I mean, day trading is cool, right? Maybe ETH winds up down 10% today because they just all puke it out. I get it. But, you want to make sure that your leverage makes sense. So we're looking at near. Okay, let's take a look at that. Okay, let's do it over here on token metrics. Big question is, in these layer ones, right? All these alleged ETH killers. It was easy to buy a lot of this stuff on the way up. And you're going to find out like right now, right? So visual trends indicator went green. Frequently there's a dip after that. There's usually a dip after the visual trends indicator goes green. That's why I'm not really like shocked by this. Okay. So sorry that took a while. So obviously there's resistance in near from an AI point of view at 465. So in a lot of this stuff, they were waiting. They were waiting. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a seller in this thing. Now, obviously, if it can hold 359, if there was this huge range between 359 and 275. I just think when it comes to this, it's almost like common sense, right? Near gapped up, sucked everybody in, and they dropped it. The question is, do people come back in? Do people come back in, right? Let's look at it over here. Okay. Now, when you look at the 4-hour chart, you get a little bit more clarity. That's why I think just seeing the token metrics.
No, sir.
Right. Thank you. Okay. So, here's near. It's been trading in this like upward sloping band. So it didn't pay to buy it at 5. And I'm not sure it pays to sell it at 4. Right? I mean, this was the prior high before the final give up trade, right? Like this doesn't look violent, okay? But it actually was, right? Like this drop here, I mean, this was violent, right? So that decline started from 385. I mean, this was like down only, crash, try to recover, and then massive flush down. Like that was the give up because it came straight off the bottom. Okay. Now, if we look at H bar, okay, so this is very similar. This is very similar. A lot of this stuff is, right? Like, it is now a good time to give up on your altcoin. It's tempting, right? You're like, oh my God, it's down. Oh, yeah, it is down. Hey, we don't know if the market's any good or not. Like, I could make something that's like, oh my God, I'm so negative. Sell everything. Sell everything on what? right? So that support around 0.066. If we look at the daily, I mean, it's slightly more sobering, right? I think in order for these things to be good, they got to get themselves back above their 60-day exponential moving average, which is right here, right at 0.08. All right. So let me go back. Okay, so Crypto Gamer says, I just retweeted the Astrobot tweet and sent it to all other influencers in the space. I am one of the first 1,000 people to follow the society LFG. Well, thank you for that. We appreciate that. Like I said, potential lifetime access. Think about it. Okay. It looks like Great Filibuster says, you might be late, but I was on time for my ETH short. Okay, well, you know, like I said, over the weekend, I mean, I knew 1,700 was a level. We had talked about it before. I'm more interested in seeing how this thing performs on a dip. Now, the swing traders, like Great Filibuster, right, and a lot of other guys on Twitter, like XO, you know, a lot of these dudes, Coach K, you know, they wanted to be aggressively short up here. Dude, I get it, right? I mean, ETH goes from 800 to 1,600 in a bear market. It's natural to want to be short. I understand that. But the thing is, the negative catalysts are known, and if they're not, well, okay, you'll get stopped out. Then you can figure out how to start selling ETH again, just like last time. But the thing is, if there's a shallow dip in ETH, and then there's one final rip up, that's where you should be short. That could be a much higher price. That's all I'm saying. Okay, China and Russia made up their own currency, probably by buying a lot of gold. Okay. Okay, so Crypto Jack says, can you explain how to specifically do with token metrics to make money, i.e. buy and sell, or is it with leverage? So it's just to buy the coins you have listed. Okay, well, let's talk about that. So let's talk about how to make money with token metrics. All right, now, when the market is going up, all right, this is the best tool. All right, it's called our indices. And what happens here is every day the AI will sort through the best coins to own from that particular exchange. Over here, you see we have a lot of exchanges. So if you're in a bull market, right, this is telling you what the best coins to focus on. Now, not sure I agree with Polygon, but you know, it's been a good momentum trade. So if you're looking to do momentum trading, right, this is a good way to do it for the exchange that you like. Now, ratings. Okay, ratings helps you with research, right? So for example, UFO Games, okay, is a top rated coin. It's down today, right? But it's 398 market cap. So this thing helps you actually unearth some potentially hidden gems. In other words, if you're like, okay, well, I want to find a small coin, but don't know where to begin. This is where you begin, right? And then you can check, like, you know, I know BNB is not a small coin, but when you come into token metrics, like what I do is like, all right, well, the AI likes it, okay? And then this is one of the most important things. You want to see something where the token metrics AI grade, in other words, technical analysis, quantitative work. You want to find instances where the grade has mooned, right? Where the grade moons from, 23 to 80 in 20 days. Meanwhile, BNB, okay, Binance Coin did go up, did go up with everything else. But after today, you want to say, all right, 2 days from now, what has a grade of 80 and is still like, is still got it together? And the thing I use, I'm just gonna be straight with you, right? So I'll look to see if the grade is mooned and the coin hasn't gone up yet. Like that's the holy grail. And then I'm checking this, right? I'm like, all right, okay, so Binance Coin has a really good grade, but do I want to chase it after it rammed itself into 2 quant AI support points at 277? No, I don't. I don't. So this would not be a pick for me. And how do you find the picks to look at? Well, you're going to go to the indices, the ratings page, and that's what I would do. This is what I do to make the market update. I'm like, okay, everyone's selling Bitcoin at 21.7. How do you use token metrics to make money? Actually, you know what? Let's go to ETH. Okay, let's go to ETH. And I'll show you about a trade that, we looked at internally. So just as a side note, we have a momentum trading signal for ETH, all coins, right? So, obviously when you have a big momentum up move, a momentum system will tick bullish, right? Right. And my argument with ETH is that this bottom may be very similar to the bottom in July of last year. Now, I know somebody said you're cherry picking. There's way more research behind it, but it's not atypical for a green signal to have a consolidation period and then have it go. Right? Nothing moves straight in one direction. This is why people are like, Bill, why are you giving the market the benefit of the doubt? Well, that's why. Right now, if it turns and reverses and it's a failed rally, you know what I'll be saying. Right? I'll say, all right, I turned my back on the bear. Shame on me. But I'm going to give our AI a chance, right? Because it's not a bull market unless you can buy a dip and make money. Now, this is complicated looking, but this is how we made money in ETH, period. Okay? So how many times did ETH bang on this 1050 level? Like, look at this. Right? I mean, it went down there like 4 times. And there was this huge overshoot as well. So ETH is like 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, and it's an AI level. Then, okay, it's trying to break above 1208. So let's try to zoom in. Did you get the zoom? No, you don't get the zoom. Okay. So once I saw this thing break above 1208 for the 3rd time, I was like, oh man, this is for real. Like, they went down here and they couldn't crack it. Like, this was when all the bad news was out, right? Remember when I was showing like the give up trade? I want to say it was in KDA, right? Or near, right? The nature of the give up. Man, when I saw them give up on this, they couldn't take out 1050 because I'm like, oh my God, this thing's going to crash. It didn't, right? Then what did it do? Well, it took out 1208 right here, and then went straight to 1350. I mean, just went straight there. Because how many times did they try to break it? They couldn't break it. Now you're like, Bill, I don't know if I could do this like you did it. Well, yeah, you can, dude. You can, right? The technical analysis community on YouTube is really busy telling you that you can't do anything yourself, that they show off how much money they made on Bybit, And okay, marketing is good. I mean, there are guys with like hundreds of thousands more followers than me. I just don't do it that way. Now, when I look at this and I go, all right, why did ETH go, like when it got above 1208, I'm like, this has got to be a buy because they tried to kill it and they couldn't. And then what they wound up doing is they took out 1, 2, 3 points. They took out 3 points. Okay. I'm like, wow. Now I started to say, okay, well, let's go to Bitcoin. Because I know ETH's got the halving coming up, right? I'm sorry, the move to proof of stake, which is like a halving or more than one halving in Bitcoin. So what did we learn in the other example? We learned that when ETH went up, probably because a lot of people were, too bearish. But when ETH went up, it took out 1, 2, 3 support points, resistance points rather. It took out 3 points. Okay. So with Bitcoin, all right, somebody's asking why Hex is pumping. We'll get to that in a second. But I was like, all right, 21.7 is support. The market trades terrible today. Okay. What happens if Bitcoin takes out, right, 1? It tried to get through 20 and it couldn't. A lot of forced selling. If this thing takes out 1, 2, 3 support points like ETH, that's like 30K, 29K. I'm like, oh, I don't think I want to get short now. I think I'd rather be long and see if what can happen in ETH translates into other markets. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I will know by the end of today. There's a guy got short ETH and he may be doing a great trade. It may disappear and not come back. Okay, why is Hex pumping today? All right, so one of the things we've talked about in Hex is that the number of times Hex pounded on support at 0.0349, right?
Not sharing screen.
Not sharing screen. Seem to be having a not sharing the screen problem today. Thank you for helping me in the background there. Okay. So Hex's 60-day exponential moving average is all the way up at 0.055. Okay. I don't know exactly why Hex is pumping today. Okay. And I don't know how the market's going to close. Now, what I do know is that every time Hex has pumped, it's gotten sold, right? So it can't get below 0.0034 or 0.035, and it can't get above 0.046. So if Hex is pumping and you own Hex, you're happy today. But the question with these small coins is, when it goes up, are people willing to pay higher prices? Right? And if they're not, and ETH cracks, then you have a problem, right? You have a problem. So I'm not trying to get all down on Hex or get all down on anybody's altcoin. What I am saying is you want to see these big coins hold. You want to see Bitcoin stop and act like it can go up. Because I remember when this thing was, when ETH was up at 3,000 and I'm like, or 2,500, and I'm like, beware the failed rally, beware the failed rally, beware the failed rally. I mean, it's just going up in my face, right? It's just like went up and then came down. I'm like, oh, that was the failed rally. And then it went up and came down again. I got to pull that up. See if I can pull that up. I mean, this thing just like mercilessly rallied in my face. Okay. I know where it is. I can see it. You look at charts long enough and it's like you live them. Okay. So here's when I started the whole beware the failed rally stuff. And I'm going to tell you why this is relevant now. Because, I mean, you go to get long ETH now, you're like, oh my God, you're out of your mind, man. This is crazy. You can't buy this shit. It's up at 1,400. It was at 800. You know, the world is on fire. You know, there's like a million reasons not to like it. Seriously. And I get that. But it was like, okay, market goes up. Beware the failed rally, right? Nope, wrong. Let's take it up again. Let's take it up again. Okay, nope. It's not a failed rally because I still love it. I can't stop paying $3,560. I love it so much. I'm buying it. And look, they tried to do it again. Look at this green God candle. They're like, oh yeah, I just absolutely love it. It stops right here and then boom, you get this. Right? I mean, can you believe how much they loved it up here? They couldn't stop buying it. Like nobody could be short up there. Nobody. Everybody got stopped out. Like they just kept stopping you out. You had to have the conviction of beware the failed rally, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it was miserable. I didn't sleep at all. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I work for a crypto company and I'm telling people to sell it. And then boom, it goes down way more than I thought, right? Actually, that's not true. I thought it was going to go a lot lower, but Celsius wasn't liquidated. And now here we are at the other end of the spectrum, right? Here we are on the ETH 8-hour chart. So we're at the other end of the spectrum. Like if you stayed on the live stream, like, first of all, thank you. Please smash the like button. But this may be what's worth staying for. Because, you know, the story I just told you at 3,500 may have reoccurred down here at 1050. And you should have sold every rally after it topped. So why not give ETH the benefit of the doubt on top of the old 2017 high? I don't know if I've drawn so many Fibonacci circle diagrams on this that you can even make it out. You probably can't, but let's try anyway. No, not going to work. Okay, maybe we could do this. Okay, so on a monthly basis, okay, I didn't even see this till just now. So for the month of July, you have got a pi cycle bottom for this month, right? And everybody and their brother is selling it, right? The 2017 high, according to this chart, was 1529. Where's ETH? 1516. With the pi cycle bottom for this month. Now, could this crash? Yeah, it could. It could. But like I said, nobody wanted to listen up here about selling it. And, you know, unless I'm an idiot, and I actually was right about 1929, it's about to blow up. That's possible too. But I would rather say, hey, let's take a shot. I mean, if ETH went back to 3,000 in September because of something with the merge and the reduction of supply, and you were like, oh my God, I could have bought ETH at the 2017 high. Now, a tactical day trading shorts I'm not talking about that. Right? Let's look at the Bitcoin chart. Let's see if this, yeah, it's there too. It's just I have too much drawn on my Bitcoin charts. Let's see if I can get over here. I had no idea it was a pi cycle monthly. Okay. There's your pi cycle bottom. Now, I did have a target of 14K. Is it going to go up before it goes down? I don't know. Am I inclined for today's live stream, if they puke it out, to give it a chance? Yes. Right? It wasn't a buy at 1700. That's where we had resistance on the quant chart. Okay, so let's sum up what we've learned today. What have we learned? Okay, Chris says, in your own opinion, what are odds of going up and down out of 100%? Okay, I don't totally understand the question. So you're asking, with ETH, is it more likely that ETH goes to 750 or 3K? I'm going to bet that the market has to go up in order for it to go down, right? In other words, the only way for the market to go down is to really make it look like the bear market is permanently over. Now, could that rally have already occurred? Yes, it could have. But I don't know that I want to get short on a pi cycle monthly bottom, especially when the negative catalysts are known, right? Like if we're selling on the SEC and hacks, so I'm not into it. I'm just not into it, okay? Many Fresh says, please hit the like button for Bill. I appreciate that, right? So I do use Fibonacci circles. They're complicated. Maybe we'll do that on a future stream. They're a little outside the box. So let's go over what we did today. I don't think you can get negative about a move up until you see whether or not you can buy a dip and make money. If you can't buy a dip and make money, it's not a bull market. We'll turn it around. We'll make this big, grotesque thumbnail, right? We'll ring the gong and we'll say, I turned my back on the bear. I'm sorry. However, if you wind up selling this thing in the hole and there's like one more thrust off the Fed, right? Off these terrible, they have to be terrible earnings reports, right? The Fed has to acknowledge that the economy is about to go in a tank. I mean, you got distress in China already. People not paying their mortgages. I mean, that's the news people should be paying attention to. It's not the bearish news in crypto. It's the bearish news in legacy. So the Fed can hike rates all at once. It may not be able to stop the price of oil or wheat. It's going to do it anyway. But it's guaranteed to tank the economy. It is. Now, is that bad for crypto? Well, today it is. But will it be by the end of the week? And that's why I'm suggesting that after everybody gets done puking today, the next person in may be a buyer. And big hedge funds may be hoovering up everybody's enthusiastic short selling today. Like, there's a lot of people selling, but who's buying? Bitcoin's only down 3%. Now, it feels like it's at zero because the whole tape's red, but it's still at 22K, right? It hasn't gone anywhere. Now, ETH is more volatile, but I mean, is a 7% correction in ETH really a big deal when it's rallied 50%? So the net of the net is, don't give up the ship on crypto until after the Fed. August is going to be choppy. This may be the dip to buy. If I'm wrong, well, as one trader said, if I'm wrong, I'll lose money, right? Or I'll lose a little bit of credibility, or I just got stopped, right? And then if it's terrible, I think that's August. August may be back and forth, but I'm not inclined to get short when I think somebody is going to have to admit, whether the Fed says it or whether the earnings reports show it, that the Fed is going to have to back off after September. Like the stock market may see bad earnings and rally, thinking that the Fed is going to back off. Now, I don't know if that's going to be true in October. Stock market's not going to be able to get away with that BS twice if they can get, even if they can get away with it once. It remains to be seen. But if the Fed has to back off, if the economy is about to tank, I think that's crypto positive. And I'm willing to just stand here and look like an idiot and say, 1,500 something is maybe decent, or 22K is decent in Bitcoin, remembering that it was impossible to be negative at 3,600 in ETH. To me, it feels the same. It feels like, oh my God, I can't tell people to buy the dip. So we'll see, right? And the flip side is the guy who was perma-bear got sucked in. Well, I will have learned my lesson at that point. Okay. All right. So somebody's giving BitBoy a hard time, right? I appreciate any love you give me, right? I wish I had 1 million followers. I don't. So the guy got where he is for a reason. Seriously. It's like, and if the Washington Post hates him, that actually makes me like him more, regardless of what he may have said or didn't say as a final word. So, hats off to anybody on YouTube who's trying to help the little guy, right? I'm trying to do it in like a research manner. Other guys have different styles. So on that note, please stick with us, right? If you're new, welcome. Please smash the like button. This is Bill Noble. I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget about that Astrobot Twitter.